Hey guys! So I am bringing you my kind of mid-month wrap-up, I guess you could say. September is apparently going to be a fairly good reading month for me, and I kind of am stealing this idea from you, Jordan. So, yeah. But I'm thinking about doing mid-month wrap-ups instead of, like, an all-inclusive end-of-the-month wrap-up, because I tend to read a lot, and my wrap-ups tend to be very, very long, which take forever to edit, and I don't know if people would lose interest halfway through them, because, I mean, I probably would lose interest if I'm talking about, like, 10 different books for the entire video. So instead of trying to cram everything into, like, a reasonable length video at the end of the month, on months that I know that I am already reading a lot, I might as well do kind of a mid-month wrap-up. So these are going to be the books that I read in the first 2 weeks of September. The first book that I picked up this month is Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. This is an adorable contemporary read told from the perspective of a gay teenage boy, which is a huge flip in most contemporary books. We don't have that many books in the LGBT community. This book made me laugh all the way through it. I gave it 4 stars. It's great. It's pretty much about a boy who is kind of still secretive about his sexuality and is not quite ready to come out yet, but a boy finds his email thread going back and forth with another gay boy that apparently goes to his school and threatens to out him, basically. So the story is pretty much about that, about teenagers accepting their sexuality. The writing in this book is hilarious. I laughed pretty much all the way through it. It was a really, really good book. The next book that I picked up this month is The Wrath in the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. I'm not sure if that's actually how you say her name, but that's how everybody on the booktube says it, so that's what I'm gonna go with. I loved this book. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. It's a retelling of 1001 Nights and kind of a lot of the Arabian Nights stories, like Aladdin is in there, but it was just such a refreshing read in YA because it's extremely submersive in Middle Eastern culture, and just everything about it, all the descriptions include things that are very foreign to what YA normally is, and I really, really appreciated the perspective that it gave me. Anyway, brief summary of this book, in case you haven't heard yet, because everybody's reading this. Basically, there's this boy king who takes a new bride every night and every morning kills her. So, of course, the main character volunteers herself to be the new bride and plans to kill him to redeem her best friend's death. But of course there's more to the story than that, and of course there's romance in it, but this book was just really, really well done. The writing was gorgeous in it. Everything descriptive was very immersive in not white America. It was just, I really appreciated the perspective that this book gave me. Her writing was so good that there's a lot of stories told in this book, like the characters tell stories, and a lot of the times that's kind of where books lose me because I don't really want to read a story within a story, but honestly, the stories that she was telling was just as captivating, if not more so, than the story of the actual book. So that says something about her writing, but I love this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Next book that I got to this month is The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. This book I listened to, and I'm pretty glad that I listened to it and did not buy it. This kind of may not fit in with this channel, but it's just kind of a book that I've heard a lot of YouTubers actually reading, and I kept seeing it on the shelves at Target, and generally, books that are at Target are usually really popular and best-selling books, so I figured I would pick it up because I've heard some good stuff about it. It's pretty much just a very short book about decluttering your house and your life, and the benefits that can ensue from that, which I can always appreciate that. I like organizing, I can appreciate books about organizing, but I only gave this book 1 star, and that's even generous for me. I feel like what I take away from this book is that you can kind of try to live your life only possessing things that you're very proud of. It's kind of preaching that you should not live a life of excess. You don't need extra things. It stresses people out having too much stuff. So it basically walks you through step by step to organize and declutter your home and get rid of unnecessary excess in your life. I feel like that's enough to summarize the book for anybody who wants to read it, because that's all you're going to take away from it. It's that, and that the author is kind of nuts. She is clearly extremely OCD. The teachings that she has in this book, I feel like would only benefit people who have infinite time and infinite money to be able to dedicate all of their time to going through every single thing in their house and consistently being proud of every single thing that you own, rather than having too much of something and not being able to appreciate it, which is all well and good. I like that theory. I like that ethic. Does not mean that everybody can afford to just throw everything away that they don't absolutely love. So that was my issue with the book. Yeah, 1 star for that one. And the next book that I got to this month was actually a short story called It's Just a Jump to the Left by Libba Bray. I will pretty much read anything by Libba Bray at this point. She's one of my favorite YA authors. So when I saw just kind of like a little short story available at my library as an ebook, of course I snagged that up. I read it in like half an hour. It's only like 30 something pages, I think. It's pretty much about 2 teenage girls in that like really awkward transition year of being around 14 years old in like pre-high school, post-middle school phase of your life. And I believe it's supposed to be in the late 80s, early 90s because of the references that were in it. But it's pretty much about these girls who are obsessed with going to the midnight showings of Rocky Horror Picture Show with all the crazy fans who dress up and have props and everything. It's kind of about the simplicity of having an event like that to look forward to as a teenager, and also the troubles of growing up, your friends kind of doing things without you. It was a very short, quick read. I gave it 3 stars. The writing was pretty good. I mean, it's Libba Bray. You can't go wrong with Libba Bray. So that's all that I've gotten to so far this month in the first 2 weeks. I am currently reading a bunch of other things right now, so I will have probably an even longer wrap-up at the end of the month, but to save that from being so very long, I figured I would throw this up today. So I shall see you guys in my next video, which will most likely be a haul because I've been buying many a book this month. So yep, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.